firstly, just wanted to ask if there's any injury news or any squad updates heading into Sunday.
No, all good so far as we speak. I think still some tired minds from Sunday's game. But other than that, yeah, everybody's okay so far.
Just on Sunday, obviously defeat to Chelsea and the calibre of opposition was always going to make life difficult for yourselves, but were you pleased with any kind of aspect of your team's performance? For example, Meg Walsh made some excellent saves sort of throughout the game, really.
Yeah, I think under very difficult conditions, and obviously it was the same for them. Arguably, I think that's the best we've performed this season. I think the fact that we matched them for a large proportion of the game, I think we've created more chances than probably we ever have before against Chelsea. I was really pleased with, the attitude, certainly the effort and some of the things we worked on in training. So I know we lost and it is about results, but actually I was really pleased how the squad came together and really had a good go and made it very, very difficult for a very good side. So generally, I think we take away a lot of positives from that game.
And looking ahead to this weekend, Tottenham have had a sort of similarly mixed start to the season to yourselves with 2 wins, 2 defeats under Ryan Skinner. What sort of challenge do you expect against their side?
Well, having looked at them, they look very organised, very strong, very aggressive, move the ball very well. So, they've got some experienced players in there. Certainly, I think Drew Spence has been a really good signing for them. So we know it's going to be tough, as it always seems to be for us. So I think it's going to be quite competitive, and I really think that we have to be as aggressive. We have to match them. We have to match them pace for pace. And again, we really have to be up for the fight if we want to get something out of the game.
You mentioned about that attitude and that sort of mindset of your players and sort of showing promising signs of that in the last couple of games. Is there anything else you guys have been sort of working on in training in regards to sort of having a sort of positive effect upon your form and looking up the table?
Yeah, I mean, we obviously work on everything, the strategy, what we're going to do when we haven't got the ball, what we look to do when we've got the ball. Certainly, finishing is one that we always look at. So I think it's more from the whole perspective of the game. I think if we really have a really positive attitude in the way we want to play, if we're really aggressive, if we really help each other and really work hard for each other, I think it's proved in the past that it gives us the best chance to perform well. So really looking at, how the players present themselves on the day, how they compete on the day, how they try and match the opposition on the day is really where we need to make sure we do our job in essence. And if we do that, as I said, we give ourselves the best possible chance.
I just wanted to get your thoughts as well. It's 2 years to the day today since the FA launched their leadership and diversity code for English football. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to ask whether you thought it's kind of made an impact, or how much kind of positive or lack of change has sort of happened during that time in terms of diversity in leadership levels within football.
I was part of that diversity code. I was part of one of the working groups. I had the privilege of doing that and trying to drive change. As we know, it's really challenging. I think sometimes you ask the wrong person. I think, what I'm seeing doesn't look any different to what it looked last year or the year before or the year before that. The percentages, certainly in the men's game, the percentages of black footballers in the game doesn't translate to off-pitch leadership roles. But I think you need to ask the decision makers that question more than me. I see everything as being pretty much the same. More talking goes on this time of the year, same subject this time of the year, same questions this time of the year. Maybe you need to ask somebody else.
Fair enough. Brighton are sort of signatories of the code. Do you feel like it's something that's very much at the forefront of goings on at the club, and it's something very much on the minds of people at Brighton?
Yeah, I think so. I guess it's been spoken about. It's spoken about enough. I don't honestly know. I think it's not just for Brighton. I think if clubs are signing a code, it is more about action. Are we seeing many changes? Question mark. Is it the same questions we had last year? Question mark. So has anything really changed? I don't see it. I know there's more conversation, but I don't really see the change, unless I'm missing something. The percentage of black coaches in the men's game, has that changed from last year? I'm asking you the question. I don't think it has. I think there's still a lot of work to be done, but I think it is about opportunity. If somebody is as qualified, got all the right credentials and the experience, then it is about giving an opportunity. And at the moment, I'm not sure there are enough opportunities afforded to people of colour, to be brutally honest.
Yeah, you mentioned those positives, the performance of Megan Walsh. What about Katie Robinson? She seemed to make a real impact, ask questions of Chelsea. Is there more to come from her, do you think?
Yeah, I didn't actually mention Megan Walsh. I think the guy who just asked the questions did. But yeah, Megan Walsh had a good performance and, always does well against Chelsea. The worrying thing is that I guess, that would suggest they have far too many shots, which means she has to save far too many shots. But I actually thought Katie Robinson was probably the standout player for us, to be fair. As well as Kaylee Green, actually. I thought she had a very good game. Katie, we put her out on loan last season just to get some more minutes, game time, and I think that's done her the world of good. She's a bit impatient. She wanted it yesterday, and I've had lots of conversations with her, about her development and what she needs to do, and she's really worked hard, to be fair. She was out for a while with an ACL a couple of years ago, and she worked really hard to come back. And I thought her performance was by far her best yet. I think she's learning, she's listening, she's trying to implement the things we're asking her to do. And I think when you've got that amount of pace, for any defender, it's quite scary. And I think she showed that in the game against Chelsea.
Can you afford to be a little bit more expansive maybe against Tottenham Hotspur? I mean, you've had such a tough start. When you look at the fixtures, it really has been difficult. I know we're in the embryonic stage of the table, but can you start to sort of, use that and be a little bit more expansive and try and pick up these wins?
Yeah, well, that's the idea. I think that's what we try to do. I don't think you can ignore the opposition, though. I think, Tottenham certainly want to be doing the same. They've made some really good signings this season. They've got probably a lot more depth than we have. But we know with somebody like Katie, with somebody like V on the left, certainly Katie's ability to run past and beyond players really gives us the opportunity to be more expensive. But in order to do that, you've got to have the ball. And against Chelsea, that is a little bit difficult sometimes. So we're hoping, maybe, fingers crossed, we have more of the ball and we might be able to be more expensive, as you say. So, yeah, we recognise that.
Some really sad news for them and for Ellie Brazil today. I mean, and she's been through this before, hasn't she, Hope? Back in, I think, 2019, was it? I seem to remember having an ACL problem. I mean, she's going to have to show some resilience, but a huge blow for her.
Oh, massive blow. I feel really, really sad for her. Obviously, she did it with us and worked really hard to get back and found her form, she probably why Tottenham came in for her. Now to do it again, I believe it's the other leg, is just really, really unlucky, and we feel really sad for her. So I think, on behalf of the staff and the players, and I know the staff and the players will reach out, we just want to wish her well and wish her a speedy recovery. Very sad.
Yeah, very sad indeed. I just want to talk about the crowd against Chelsea. Record crowd. I mean, you must be delighted with that kind of support.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And I think the weather was awful. So I think testimony to those people that came out despite the weather. And I think for our players, I think that really inspired them. I think it really helped them, in the game under very, very tough conditions against very good opposition. And I think it really was a bit of a driving force for us. So, I want to say thank you. I hope they enjoyed it. I think it was an entertaining game, and hopefully, they'll be back on Sunday to support the girls even more.
Just finally, one thing that sort of noticed that there hasn't actually been any draws in the WSL yet this season, with nearly 30 fixtures. Can you make anything of that?
That's either down to poor finishing or good goalkeeping, I'm not sure. But yeah, no, I didn't realise that. Hopefully we don't get a draw on Sunday, but so long as we get a win, I'd rather take a draw than a loss. Put it that way.
Absolutely. I just wonder whether it's something about the makeup of the division and in terms of the strength of the teams. You don't see it maybe like that? I don't know.
Maybe. I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I'm just trying to concentrate on us, to be honest. So yeah, but interesting. We'll see where it goes over the weekend.